Your Jeep is quietly destroying itself right now, and you have no idea. There are 5 factory settings that Jeep engineering enabled to meet government regulations and boost fuel economy numbers on paper. But these same settings are murdering your starter, grinding your transmission, and stressing your drivetrain to the breaking point. I'm talking about settings that turn on automatically every single time you start your Jeep. Settings buried in menus you've probably never opened. Here's what makes this criminal. Jeep knows these settings cause premature wear. Service bulletins prove it, but they don't tell you to disable them because that would hurt their EPA numbers. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which settings to turn off and how to do it in under 60 seconds. And stick around for setting number 3, because that one alone is responsible for $2,500 transmission replacements in Jeeps under 80,000 miles. Let's fix your Jeep before it's too late. Setting number 1. Auto Start-Stop, the starter killer. Every modern Jeep from 2018 forward comes with Auto Start-Stop. You know the feature. You pull up to a red light, the engine shuts off to save 0.02 gallons of gas, then restarts when you lift off the brake. Sounds great for the environment, terrible for your wallet. Here's the problem. Your starter motor was designed for maybe 50,000 start cycles over the vehicle's lifetime. But with Auto Start-Stop, you're hitting 10 to 15 restarts per trip in city driving. That's 300 extra starts per month. Do the math. You're burning through starter life at 5 times the normal rate. Starter replacement on a Jeep Wrangler JL, $450 to $650 parts and labor. Grand Cherokee L, $550 to $800, and that's just the starter. The added stress damages your battery, your alternator, and every electrical component that has to power cycle constantly. Dealerships see this constantly. Jeeps with 40,000 miles needing starters. That's not normal wear, that's Auto Start-Stop abuse. Here's how to disable it permanently. For 2018 to 2024, Wrangler JL and Gladiator Uconnect screen. Go to Settings, scroll to Engine Off Options, toggle Auto Start-Stop to Off. But here's the catch. It resets every time you restart your Jeep. You have to turn it off manually every single drive unless you buy a defeat device or reprogram it with a tuner. For Grand Cherokee L and Wagoneer, same process. Settings, Vehicle, Engine Off, disable Auto. Start-Stop, again, resets with every ignition cycle. There are aftermarket bypass modules for $150 that remember your preference permanently. Worth every penny when you compare it to $650 starter replacement. Setting number 2. Aggressive transmission shift points. The gearbox grinder. Jeep programs their 8-speed and 9-speed automatics to shift aggressively to maximize fuel economy ratings. The transmission jumps to the highest gear possible as quickly as possible, lugging the engine at low RPM under load. This is killing your transmission. When you accelerate gently from a stop, watch your tachometer. The transmission will shift from 1st to 4th gear before you hit 25 miles per hour, putting you at 1,200 RPM, trying to accelerate a 5,000-pound vehicle. That's called lugging. The torque converter is slipping, clutch packs are wearing, transmission fluid is overheating. Jeep Grand Cherokee and Wagoneer owners, you know exactly what I'm talking about. That shudder you feel between 2nd and 3rd gear at 15 miles per hour? That's your torque converter hunting, trying to lock up at RPMs too low to handle the load. Transmission shops are rebuilding these 8 speeds at 60,000 to 90,000 miles. Normal transmission life should be 150,000 to 200,000 miles. You're losing half your transmission life because Jeep wants to advertise 22 miles per gallon instead of 21. How to fix it? Your Jeep has drive modes. Sport mode on Wranglers, Cherokee, Grand Cherokee, S mode on Gladiators. These modes change shift points to higher RPM, keeping the engine in the power band instead of lugging. Press the drive mode button on your shifter or center console. Select Sport or S. Drive normally. You'll notice the transmission holds gears longer. Shifts happen at 2,500 to 3,500 RPM instead of 1,500 to 2,000. This is how the transmission was designed to shift. Smooth, firm, no shudder. Your fuel economy will drop maybe 1 mile per gallon, but you'll add 50,000 miles to your transmission life. That's a $3,000 rebuild you just avoided for the cost of $3 extra per tank. Setting number 3, overly sensitive traction control. The drivetrain destroyer. This is the setting most Jeep owners don't even know exists, and it's catastrophic for your drivetrain. Jeep's traction control system is programmed to intervene aggressively the moment it detects any wheel slip. Sounds safe, right? It's destroying your transfer case, drive shafts, and differentials. Here's what happens. You're driving in rain, snow, or on dirt. One wheel loses traction for a fraction of a second. Traction control instantly applies brake force to that wheel and cuts engine power. But your drivetrain doesn't stop instantly. The sudden shock load from braking one wheel while others are still driving creates torsional stress through the drive shafts, U-joints, CV joints, and differential gears. In four-wheel drive, it's even worse. Traction control fighting against the transfer case and locked differentials creates binding and shock loading that wears components exponentially faster. Jeep service bulletins acknowledge this causes premature U-joint failure and transfer case wear. Wrangler and Gladiator owners running 4-high on wet pavement with traction control enabled are experiencing transfer case failure at 50,000 to 70,000 miles. Normal transfer case life? Over 150,000 miles easily. How to disable it? All Jeeps have a traction control off button. It's either on the center console or next to the gear shifter with a car and squiggly lines icon. Press and hold for 5 seconds. You'll see a warning light on the dash saying traction control is off. Now, here's what Jeep doesn't tell you. This only partially disables traction control. Full disable requires a deeper menu setting. For Wranglers and Gladiators, go to Uconnect, Vehicle Info, Safety and Driving Assistance, scroll to Traction Control. Select Full Off or Off-Road Mode. This gives you actual control without computer interference. Drive like an adult. Modulate your throttle. Your drivetrain will last twice as long. Setting number 4, ECO mode, the performance killer. ECO mode is Jeep's fuel-saving feature that dulls throttle response, softens transmission shifts, and limits engine power. It's designed for highway cruising at steady speed, but if you're using it in city driving or hilly terrain, you're causing serious problems. ECO mode reduces throttle sensitivity by up to 30%. When you press the accelerator, there's a delay before the engine responds. This forces you to press harder and deeper into the throttle to get the power you need. You end up using more throttle input and holding it longer, which increases fuel consumption and engine load. Worse, Eco mode keeps the transmission in high gears. Going uphill in Eco mode, your Jeep will stay in 7th or 8th gear at 1,400 RPM, trying to maintain speed. The engine is laboring, transmission is slipping, and you're building heat in both. Jeep 3.6-liter Penister engines are experiencing premature valve train wear and carbon buildup from extended low RPM operation under load. Service intervals for carbon cleaning are dropping from 100,000 miles to 60,000 miles in ECO mode heavy users. Turn it off permanently. ECO mode button is on your dashboard or center console with a green leaf icon. Press it once, light goes off, ECO mode is disabled. Unlike auto start-stop, this setting usually stays off between drives on most Jeep models. If your Jeep has selectable drive modes, choose normal or sport. Never use Eco unless you're on flat highway at constant 65 miles per hour for hours. City driving in ECO mode is mechanical suicide. Setting number 5, throttle response delay. This is the most insidious setting. Every Jeep from 2018 forward has electronic throttle control with built-in response delay. When you press the gas pedal, there's a programmed delay before the throttle body opens. This smooths out jerky drivers and helps with emissions, but it creates dangerous situations and increases wear. The delay is typically 150 to 300 milliseconds. Doesn't sound like much, but when you need to merge into highway traffic or accelerate out of a dangerous situation, that delay forces you to mash the throttle pedal harder and hold it longer. This causes irregular engine load patterns and transmission hunting. In stop-and-go traffic, throttle delay makes you constantly overcorrect. Press pedal, nothing happens. Press harder. Too much power. Let off. Press again. This oscillation pattern confuses the transmission computer and causes excessive shift cycling. Jeep Wrangler and Grand Cherokee forums are filled with complaints about laggy throttle and dead pedal. This isn't a defect. It's a factory setting designed for EPA testing, not real-world driving. How to fix it? Your Jeep's drive mode settings affect throttle response. Sport mode reduces delay significantly. On Wranglers and Gladiators, using 4-low also reduces throttle delay because the system assumes you need precise control. For permanent fix, you need a throttle response controller. Devices like Pedal Commander, Sprint Booster, or Race Chip throttle modules plug into your accelerator pedal sensor and eliminate the delay. They cost $250 to $400, but make your Jeep feel like a completely different vehicle. Alternatively, aftermarket tuning with devices like Taser, AEV ProCal, or FlashCal can adjust throttle mapping in the ECU. One-time purchase, permanent fix. The difference is immediate. Throttle input matches engine response instantly. Your transmission shifts smoother because it's receiving consistent throttle signals instead of erratic mashing. If you just disabled all 5 settings right now, drop a comment with your Jeep model and year. Let's see how many of us are taking control back from factory programming designed to pass EPA tests instead of protecting your investment. And if you know someone who just bought a new Jeep, share this video. Save them thousands in repairs they don't need to experience. Turn off those settings, take back your Jeep, and I'll see you in the next one.